Hello, empowered soul. Happy day of Mars. You know, it seems like when I come to make these videos, it always seems to be on the day of Mars, which makes sense. It's the day of taking action. And there's just been a lot happening on the day of Mars recently. So yeah, he's getting all the attention right now. But he's not the one we're going to talk about today. I want to talk about, there's a lot happening. But specifically, there's one major event occurring today that is really being felt individually and collectively. And then there's another conjunction that I'm actually not hearing much about. It kind of surprises me. So, and this is all leading up to the new moon in Libra this weekend that is an eclipse. And then the final eclipse at the end of the month, which will be a full moon. So let's go ahead and dive in first to what's happening today. So let's start with the aspect that I'm not actually hearing much about. This conjunction that's occurring between Venus, dark moon Lilith, and the moon. Okay, they're all conjunct, meaning they're at the same degree or within 5 degrees of one another, and they're all at the very beginning degrees of Virgo. Literally this morning when I sat down to look at it, they were all at 0 degrees Virgo, which blew me away. I was like, wait, what? This is pretty massive. And it makes so much sense because once I looked at it and started feeling into it and letting spirit give me guidance, I recognized that it's a theme that's already been occurring and I've been seeing. It's all over social media. It's happening with my friends and I who hold space. We've been talking about how we're all wanting to start these women's circles where we're especially holding space for women to reconnect with their feeling in their body. And that just, and in sensual ways. Like I'm starting a women's circle that will be very connected to healing the sacral chakra and reconnecting to pleasure and softness and sensuality in the body. And I have several friends doing the same thing. And when I looked at the astrology, I was like, well, of course we are. Duh, it's in the sky, as above, so below. And that is this conjunction. That is what's occurring right now with Lilith, especially moving into Virgo. So Venus, the planet of love, beauty, the feminine, and also finance in a really luxurious way. That's Venus. Then we have dark Lilith, dark moon Lilith. She is the repressed feminine, the powerful aspects of the feminine that we keep suppressed because they feel dangerous. We feel like it's really unsafe to let those things come through our bodies. And safety is what we want, right? Safety is what we need to teach our bodies. And yeah, these things that are coming up that dark moon Lilith is controlling don't feel safe. They don't feel safe because we've been taught to repress them and we don't know how to connect with them. And actually, they're really powerful and they increase our own empowerment. So we have these two. And then we have the moon, which literally rules our intuition, our inner emotions, how we feel, how we connect with the divine feminine, with great mother. These three are conjunct in the archetype of Virgo, which is the great healer. And that's something that Virgo isn't always given credit for. But Virgo is very much about healing and being of assistance, being of service. And that's very much the energies right now. A lot of what is coming up is a healing of this ancient generational wound that is called the witch wound. So many feminine expressing bodies, myself included, hold this wound. Even the word witch is not used by many of us because of fear, right? We don't want to be seen in a certain way or negative or dark ways. But that's all bullshit. Those are all lies that have been conditioned into us over generations in order to keep us disempowered. And right now, when we have this conjunction, it is this rising up of those feminine energies. It is a remembrance. It is bringing us back together as women and reconnecting to our true soul right, birthright, energy and power. It's expressing it and allowing it to come back. It's also rewriting the story because through generations now, we have received information that witches are a certain thing. They cast spells and they do curses and they eat children and they play with black cats and all of the creepy things, right? As children especially, we are very much taught to fear witches. Very much a conditioning goes passed down by religion. What is a witch really, though? A witch is someone who works with the earth, with natural elements, with the cosmos, who plays with energies and recognizes that we're not just a physical expression, but we are an energetic body as well. And a witch knows how to work with those things and knows how to naturally heal, working with herbs and energy and just natural empowerment of overcoming the self to bring environments that allow healing. So yeah, the healing of this wound is deep and massive. Even for myself, being able to say, yeah, I'm okay with being a witch. I am witchy. I do herbs and I teach people how to heal themselves, and I hold space for myself and for others to reconnect with the power we have been forgotten. We've been conditioned to forget and separated from. And this witch wound is asking us to come in and to feel it and to reconnect with it. And especially it's asking us to do it through sisterhood. It's asking the sisters, the witches, to come back together. Whether you want to call it a coven, a moon circle, a gathering of women, a healing circle, it doesn't matter what you label it as. It's time for the sisters to gather back together, to claim our birthrights, to claim our power in softness. You can be angry. Yeah, and there's a lot of anger coming up around it, right? Like, we have been burned at the stake. We have been hung. We have been drowned. We have experienced, and most commonly in our modern age, we're crazy. We have mental health issues. We're not stable. But really, that is just a woman fully expressing in her feminine energy in powerful ways. And we have been conditioned to believe that there's something wrong so that we can be controlled. Lilith is telling us there is no more of that, though. It is time to stand up against those energies and allow yourself to be the powerful feminine expression you came here to be. To work with the herbs, to work with your family, to spiritually guide them, to nurture them, to love them, to maintain your home, and to work with the earth, to show her the same respect and love that you desire to feel, because it's an overflow, right? It overflows from me to her and vice versa, and from me to you and vice versa. That's how we're supposed to be doing it, because again, back to the oneness. So Lilith, Venus, and the moon are conjunct in Virgo, asking us to really do this deep dive, this internal dive, to heal, to do the self-help, to do the development, the evolution, the work that is needed in order to really reconnect with those gifts, those responsibilities, those abilities, because they're needed. They are needed more than ever right now. So it's really asking us to come together. And in this healing, you will find a deeper reconnection to your own intuition. You will be able to trust through this healing journey. You can trust your own inner guidance again. You don't need to be told from outside of you who you are, what the fuck you're here to do, or how you're supposed to feel or express. You get to get it from in here. You get to listen to your voice on the inside. And that is a process. It is a journey. I help guide women through Gut Health 101, a course that helps heal literally the physical gut. And it's also what I've learned when this course channeled through is that the gut is part of the awakening process. And if the gut actually isn't awake and isn't in a healing journey, then you're really not connected to your intuition, not in the depths and the real abilities that you have. So it's really reconnecting with that intuition through learning to love and trust yourself. And also because it's in Virgo, that's an earth sign. It's asking us to be really grounded and embodied in these energies, in our gifts, in our abilities, in our power, and not to be afraid to speak it. The voice, the throat chakra is massive right now. It is receiving a huge amount of healing, especially as we move into the full moon in Taurus, which is an eclipse at the end of the month on the 28th. There's this deep journey we're going on right now to get there that is healing and activating our voices. Even me making this video, there was so much resistance today to coming here and making this video. This morning when I sat at my altar and had my time with my own highest self, my spirit, and met with Great Spirit and Great Mother, and took a look at the astrology and saw this, there was so much that came through and I could not wait to speak it. I could not wait to share it because I see how it's working. And then as the day moved forward, resistance, distraction, chaos, all these things on the external that honestly started to affect my internal, and almost was trying to keep me from doing this. And I had to bring myself back to my tools. That's very much Virgo energy. Going back to your resources, back to your tools, utilizing your structure, your routine that you know works for you. I had to utilize those tools. I had to do some breath work. I had to ground in. I had to do some meditation. And I had to go into the bedroom, close the door, get a pillow, scream my fucking heart out into it, beat the hell out of it, and then collapse onto the floor and weep. That's just the truth of the energy right now. But I had to use my tools to get back into my body, to let that energy move out so that the chaos in the external wouldn't continue to impact the internal, because I knew this message needed to be spoken. So right now, I really encourage you to take a look at where you feel the most repressed. Where are you repressing, especially your feminine energy? Where are you afraid to speak up about your gifts, your woo, your weird? What part of your witch wound is asking to be healed? Maybe it's connecting to different archetypes you can really understand. Maybe it's reconnecting to herbs and flowers and how they heal. Maybe it's just reconnecting to sisterhood, because that's a deep fucking wound. The wound of sisterhood, I know it's one I'm still working through. Being able to trust the sisters. I can trust the masculine much more easily because that's conditioned into me. The patriarchy, the current systems have conditioned us into running to the masculine to be saved. That's ending. That is ending. And I'll get into that in a second as to how and why. But that is very much ending, and we're being called back to the sisterhood. We're being called back to relying and being supported by one another as the feminine, because truly we're the only ones can really understand this energy, right? The masculine can connect to their feminine and understand a lot, but they will never truly be able to understand and grasp what we feel and how it expresses and the true divine power that's flowing through us for creation, especially from the chaos. Because the masculine really isn't comfortable with chaos at all. It's our opportunity to be really comfortable with chaos and learn how to work with it and harness it into our own personal magic. So this is our opportunity right now to really heal our own internal wounding with the feminine, with whatever that might be coming through. And then allow that to overflow into the external, bringing us back together into our covens, into our circles, into ritual together. Sisters, it's time to come back together. And that can happen whichever way. For me, it feels most easiest in moon ritual. I love creating ceremony and ritual for women around the moon. So maybe that's for you. Maybe it's time to start a moon circle with your closest female friends, or ones that maybe you're not so close with, or little sandpaper action there. They're meant to bring that diamond out of you. But it's time to get back together in our circles and let our power fully express, come to life again, and to embody it. Okay. The other aspect of this, the big part of today, so big. Pluto's stationed direct today. It has been in retrograde, which means the theme of revisiting. When planets appear to go retrograde, which means they change their orbit from going forward to backward, it's an opportunity for us to revisit themes. It's for us to go back into the themes of that planet and really go inward, to retrospect, to examine and look at the themes. And with Pluto doing that retrograde through Capricorn, it's really been this time to revisit the structures. Capricorn rules like the foundation of things, very traditional. Especially like for individuals, it would go to our childhood, especially the father figure. Very much that energy of like, okay, childhood, what foundations were laid? Again, like I was just talking about, the conditioning of the church or religion onto us thinking witches are wrong. That's a foundational belief and conditioning that was given to us, passed down from the powers that be, which is typically ruled by Capricorn, and has been progressively lived out by us. Well, with this Pluto retrograde, it's asking us to revisit that and go, wait a minute, do these structures actually still hold up? Is there really still a reason to be afraid of witches? Is there really still a reason to repress the feminine? Is there really a reason why I shouldn't work with the earth and shouldn't work with herbs and shouldn't sexually express myself and create new life? It's all about asking these questions right now. And then on a collective level, not just individual, but collective, it has to do with government. It has to do with the very structures that our whole lives are built on. which oftentimes in our current modern society looks like government. It looks like infrastructure. And I won't get into it too much, but all you got to do is go online, turn on the TV, whatever your mode of connection is to the outside world, and you'll know immediately that there's all kinds of things happening in the world right now that looks like chaos. And honestly, it looks atrocious. Between governments and upcoming elections and war and crimes against humanity, this is all for the exposure. That was literally Pluto finishing that retrograde, because Pluto is the planet of death, rebirth. It goes to the very depths of hell to shake shit up and show you the truth of who you are. It shows you the truth. It absolutely, it's the tower moment. It's the complete collapsing of you, of governments, of systems that are fucked. To be honest, the parts of you that are fucked, that aren't in alignment with your soul's highest expression, its experience that it desires in this life, they're going to crumble. They're going to collapse right now. Same for the governments, same for the world systems. Those parts that aren't aligned with what we're moving into, especially the age of Aquarius, when Pluto shifts all the way into Aquarius, whatever's not aligned with what we're creating in this new earth is absolutely collapsing right now. It's done. And we're visually seeing it play out right in front of us. And it feels awful. It is literal death all around the planet right now and inside of us. But Pluto doesn't just kill us. It doesn't just bring death and destruction. There is a purpose and intention in it. And I know that is so hard to see and so painful to feel when it looks like it does right now. But I invite you to that opportunity. I invite you to see that, to take the moment to breathe into it, to breathe past the pain, the anger, the rage, the grief. Grief is so heavy right now. But I invite you to take that pause, to breathe into it and look beyond. What is the opportunity? What can be created from this? And that is Pluto arising in power. And specifically with Pluto and its transaction that it's getting ready to do, this transition that it's getting ready to do from Capricorn back into Aquarius, it is about freedom. It is about sovereignty, and it is about creating something unique and new and different, but it's about rising into the power. And this power, when it moves into Aquarius and out of Capricorn, it's no longer power structures. It's no longer looking for a savior, a government, a masculine, anything outside of us to save us. This is the people rising together. It's us. It's us creating revolution. But I encourage you again to once again do it in a new way. Revolution does not have to look like war, fire, destruction, and chaos. It can. It can. Revolution also looks like choosing softness, tapping into that conjunction I was just talking about. Choosing softness, because that is power. Choosing love, because that is power. Choosing groundedness, because that is power. Choosing self-regulation, because that is power. Choosing self-responsibility, because that is power. It's coming into your own and allowing yourself to rise. And maybe if it is the witch wound you're healing, it's rising into that witchiness, because that's what will heal you and that's what will heal others around you. But it's rising into something brand new. It's choosing to do things a way that you have never chosen before in order to rewrite the story, in order to lay new foundations, new structures. And like I'm saying, when Pluto's in Aquarius, the theme is also freedom. So really think about that right now, as everything is literally being destroyed and collapsing all around us. I invite you to look at that opportunity. How is it for you? And more specifically, how is it for your freedom? How can you use this shakeup, this grief, this death, this loss to empower you into greater freedom, sovereignty as an individual? And how can that individual be a part of the collective? Because that's our North and South node right now. North node Aries, South node Libra. It's losing the codependency, the old structures of savior, 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 into sovereignty. I heal and save myself so that I can overflow in service to others. It's the I and the we. And that's really the energy of this new moon in Libra, which is a solar eclipse, which is literally new beginnings. And it's a new moon. So really, it's right now, this death, this destruction, I know it feels overwhelming. I am moving through my own personal triggers and journeys with grief right now that are so heavy. My very just personal example, foundations. My own wounding of being unwanted that comes from almost the very beginning of my life is being triggered. And it's that last ringing out. But it's also so different than it's ever been before because I'm feeling it. I am feeling it. I have been grieving. I have felt the pain and the loss and the anger and the rage. I'm feeling it all. I'm allowing that. And at the same time, in the same moment, I'm doing my very best to also choose the new. Recognizing and seeing how I actually created this situation and allowing myself to create something new because I'm able, I'm powerful, and I'm tapping into that own self-healing, that self-power. But I'm also not doing it alone. What I've learned in my journey is that community is the salve. Community is what heals. So I've been able, in this time, the biggest difference has been I have friends that I can call and say, hey, and we don't just go through the pain and the anger and the grief and it's not spilling out of the crap. It's, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm experiencing. How the hell do I move past it? Can you please, is there something I'm not seeing? Please reflect, give me some perspective. How can I create the new from this? Because all I'm feeling right now is chaos. That's the new. And that's how we're doing it together. Because we're not supposed to do it alone. And that's what the new moon in Libra is about. It's about new, powerful relationships. First with ourselves in a healthy, beautiful way. And then letting that overflow into our community. And again, sisterhood, bringing it back together. Witches coming together, reforming our covens, and not being quiet about it anymore. Not hiding. Coming out of the woodwork, allowing ourselves to fully express, allowing ourselves to be seen and heard and felt in our full power, rising from the ashes. Because we've been burned for generations, right? We've been burned for generations. Pluto is saying, I'm getting rid of all those structures that burned you. The ones that called you witches, even the ones that labeled you that and burned you and hung you and all the things and then passed down this conditioning of fear. It's wiping. The universe is literally wiping those structures out right now. And it's leaving it open for us to create something new. Where we recognize that this is actually the natural way to be, is to work with the earth and the elements and the energies. And that we actually, witches aren't special. I'm sorry, witches aren't special. We've been conditioned also to believe that witches or psychics or healers or spiritual people are super special. They have gifts that no one else has. That's bullshit. I'm just going to straight up tell you that's bullshit. We all are the same energetic. We are all part of the divine soul, the divine collective. We have the same ability to tap into the same gifts, the same abilities, the same energies. It's just if you're going to let yourself, if you're going to uncondition all those things, those stories, those beliefs, the bullshit, the traumas, all of it, if you're going to let it all go so that that can come back out, so you can see it, feel it, and express it again. So I just encourage you, this energy is a lot. It is a lot right now. The best things you can do right now to really support yourself, to work with this energy, number one, ground. It's, well, like I said, that original conjunction is happening in Virgo. Pluto's happening in Capricorn. Those are both earth signs. So grounding down, connecting with the earth, specifically walking barefoot. I'm going to be honest, I've been lying. Just lying on the ground because I feel like I just need to mold into her. But grounding is essential right now. I really encourage you also to do breath work. With this energy being in Virgo, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, the nervous system, the mind is really overactive. I'm noticing a lot of angst, a lot of anxiety, distraction, ADHD. Yeah, breath work. Breath work is essential right now to still the mind, come back into presence. But also breath work, especially somatic breath work, is excellent in releasing those stored traumas. When these triggers come up, we're not just supposed to feel it and get stuck in it. That's great. That's the beginning. But we really need to release it from the body. And that looks like somatic breath work. That looks like exercise. That looks like lifting some heavy weights, doing some yoga, doing some Pilates, going for a walk, a run. It's moving the body. And Virgo also is about health and wellness. It is about having structure and routine that supports you being optimally healthy. So it's time. It is time for you to make sure that you are eating healthy, because that is going to support you and your powers and your gifts coming to full life and being embodied again. It looks like having a healthy workout routine, taking care of your vessel. If you are healing the witch wound, if you are trying to reconnect with your divine powers and gifts and not be so conditioned, if you're not taking care of your vessel, it's not going to happen. Point blank. You will not be in integrity if you're not taking care of your vessel, because your vessel is the communicator. It is the communicator. And if it isn't healthy, if you haven't worked on having a healthy connection and relationship with your body, you can't receive the communication. You don't know how to listen. So breath work, grounding, exercise, and then somatic release. This can look like I was talking about earlier, angry, punching and screaming into a pillow, collapsing, weeping. It can look like dance, ecstatic dance. It can look like twerking to release from the root and sacral. It can look like hula hoop or just hip movements, belly dancing. Also connecting in with that divine feminine energy, the softness, the beauty. You can have fun with it. Making it a beautiful, nurturing experience is really important. So I just encourage you, the last one too is, that just came through, drinking a lot of water is really important right now. I've noticed there's a lot of thirst, and we're using our voices more. We're learning how to use our voices, and our body really needs all that water. We're healing the feminine, and you can't heal the feminine if you don't connect to the waters. So I just encourage you right now to really work with this energy, especially we're in the dark moon phase. We're entering into the dark moon phase. This is when, in the lunar cycle, things get purged out anyway. It's literally the last cleanse before we start the new cycle. So it's just amplifying all this energy. It's just amplifying all the energy, and I really encourage you to work with it right now. And then I invite you to come, if you desire to, on Friday night, Friday the 13th, I'm actually hosting a virtual new moon circle for the new moon in Libra, which is a solar eclipse. Lots of powerful new beginnings, especially in our relationships, how we relate to ourselves, and then allowing that to overflow to others. So we're going to be diving into, and it's going to be really, really powerful. And again, we're going to be touching on this witch wound because it's really important. It's a big part of it. So I invite you. The link will be below to join that. It is very affordable. I'm making it a sliding scale now so that as many people as possible can be a part, because we need this information to be known. We need as many people as possible to reconnect with the language of the divine, which is astrology. And so I love teaching that. I love creating sacred spaces, safe spaces for us to feel, to heal, to connect, and to learn together. So I invite you to come to that space. It's going to be Friday night, Friday the 13th, 8 p.m. Central Standard. Again, link is below to join. And then if you personally are struggling, like say you have an experience in life that feels really traumatic right now, or say you're working through a health concern or issue, or you're just trying to bring healing into your body, I would love to support you through one-on-one coaching. That is my real passion. That's where I get to go deep. That's where I get to teach you in a way that you actually need and can receive. So if you do desire one-on-one coaching, I will also go ahead and drop my email down below. Please shoot me an email. Just put in the subject, coaching, and I will get back with you. And just let me know where you're at, what you desire, and we'll set up a free consultation so we can connect and make sure it's a right fit for both of us. But it really is important right now to learn how to work with these energies. It's important to reconnect, to remember astrology. It is so empowering to remember the language of the divine, because it really removes a lot of this chaos. Today, if I had not known what was happening in the sky, I probably would have lost my shit, to be honest. There was a moment that I definitely wanted to pop off. And if I was not aware and conscious of what was occurring for me, I would have popped the hell off on someone. But instead, I recognized what was occurring and saw how it was playing out inside of me. And I had compassion. I had compassion for myself. And I shifted. So I just encourage you. I invite you in. New Moon in Libra this weekend, Friday night, one-on-one coaching. Let's learn, let's remember together how to work through this energy, how to work with this energy. And more specifically, let's learn and come back together and remember how community is meant to build the new. It's together we're going to heal. It's together that something new beyond the bullshit we've lived in will be created. And it's always from chaos that the new is birthed. So I just give you that right now. I know that it does not shift the actual 3D events, but it can shift you internally so that you stay grounded, so you stay centered, so you stay in your power. Okay, I love you so much. Remember, the cosmos has your back. Great Spirit has your back. We're all working together in this. I love you. I'm always here for you. And hang on tight. Let's go.